anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines.
Ivanka Kushner distances from Trump drama, refusing to aid amidst legal battles. She signals a significant break from family ties. We report tonight on how she is not involved in Trump's fundraising struggles, prioritizing personal happiness over political entanglements.
Elon Musk's erratic behavior sparks controversy over LGBTQ+ issues. He canceled journalist Don Lemon's contract, criticizes LGBTQ+ history bill, yet advocates for gay friends to have children despite past anti-LGBTQ+ sentiments. Wait, what?
Candis, Cayne, and Danna Davis launch Mary. It's Mary Productions to combat anti-LGBTQ+ laws with humor. Their project, Diaper Dolls, satirizes discriminatory legislation aiming to foster understanding and promote positivity.
Congress avoids shutdown but faces criticism for banning pride flags and closing diversity and inclusion offices. MTG and others now want to fire Speaker Johnson. Get your popcorn ready.
It's going to be quite a show. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Monday, March 25th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies. Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network in 2024. Our magazines are celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ broader community.
Yes, and let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. We'll begin by welcoming Jacob Reide Jennings. He's a professional ballroom and Latin dancer turned real estate broker and philanthropist. Jacob leads the Sherlock Holmes Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 to address LGBTQ+ and youth housing insecurity. Jacob, my friend, I'm so happy to see you, Papi. And the famous Star Ballroom is hosting a dance event for Sherlock Holmes in Pompano Beach on April 13th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, there is a lot of joy that one can find in their life when they actually learn how to dance ballroom and Latin dancing. And I know that everyone has seen Dancing with the Stars and wanted to wear that wonderful rhinestone sequin gown. And guess what? You can now. We're going to be doing a non-gender conforming dance series where we're going to be starting on the 13th of April. That's what I said, yes, on Saturdays, where you can come and learn how to lead, follow, or just co-create with another dancer of our community. Come learn what it's like to experience partner dancing in a safe environment, and I promise to provide a ton of fun.
I love that. Thank you. Definitely look out for that. Next up, let's welcome anchor Jamaal L. Starks. Known in the community as Porcelain, Jamaal is currently the president, baby, of Impulse Group Miami and also a holistic wellness coach providing teachings through yoga, meditation, tarot energy readings, and spiritual coaching. He's also a sexual wellness advocate, and you could just tell by that gorgeous face of his. He also walks sex siren in the ballroom scene with the House of Gorgeous Gucci, a board member of the Legacy Builders, who I love. I love that whole entire group of people, Legacy Builders Consulting Group, a part of South Florida's Fit Safe Space team, and the Queer Yoga Club at Miami Life Center. Welcome, Jamaal and Jay. So an incredible $10,000 prize is up for grabs for the House of Gorgeous Gucci and the Miami Ballroom Pride Fest Ball at 2024 at the Set, April 13th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, in collaboration with legendary Cash Gorgeous Gucci, who is the legendary father, Impulse Group will be presenting Ballroom Pride Fest during Miami Pride. So come on out if you want to vogue, get your sex siren on, which you'll be competing against me.
Did you just hear the people quitting right now? It's like, hell no.
There's legendary Cash Cardo serving his legendary face. We have $10,000 worth of prizes. I think it's $8,000 for realness and $2,000 for face. So come on out and enjoy your time at the Set Miami, 8 p.m. Doors will open at 7. We'll start promptly at 8.
I love it. See, something else to add to your Miami Beach Pride schedule right there, all right? Make sure that you look up Jamaal for all the information as well. Next up, let's welcome Danna Davis. I am so excited about this girl being on the show today. Can I tell you? Okay, I'll tell you privately later. I love her. All right. Why? She's a writer, director, and producer. Danna is co-owner of Mary. It's Mary's Productions. Projects include working with her partner, Candis Cayne. You guys know who Candis Cayne is, on her new series, Candis Cayne's Secret Garden, and a whole lot more. Danna is working on a new LGBTQ plus medical reality series called Doctor's Orders. It's sickening, based right here in Wilton Manors. Danna, girl, I got to talk to you. So it's Transgender Day of Visibility, right, at the end of this week, and AHF has partnered with SunServe to celebrate the important day that is March 31st. Tell me what's happening.
Well, that is very exciting, of course. And Misty from SunServe is amazing. And there's going to be a great picnic going on there. And who doesn't love a picnic? I know I do. And hopefully maybe we can get some baseball going, too. You never know. And, well, boys, bring your bats and balls. And that could be really cute as well.
Oh, my God. I love it. All right. So where's the event at?
It is at the SunServe will tell you where it's at.
Okay, all right.
So
no,
sorry.
perfect. No, and I had
the exact park.
And I had just, well, no, but it's going to be at a park. So it's going to be a daytime event, right? And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So, you know, you folks are always asking for a daytime event, and now you get to do this, okay?
Yes.
It's going to be a wonderful picnic, and SunServe always does it big. SunServe always does it big. Misty and the whole entire crew over there are just exceptional. And Trans Day visibility is so important to be, just remember our trans siblings to celebrate, all right? And just express to the world how much joy our trans siblings give us on a day basis. So I'm excited for your event, Danna, and I'm excited to talk to you more about your future projects coming up for sure. Next up, let's welcome the man himself, Robert Kesten. Robert believes in universal human rights and has dedicated crucial years of his life to the integration of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights around the world. He conceptualized the UN Decade of Human Rights Education and is now the ED of Stonewall National Museum Archives and Library. Robert, you're taking Stonewall Museum Standing on the Shoulders of Heroes exhibit on the road to City College of New York on May 7th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, we're going first to Philadelphia, then we're going to New York, then we're going to New Orleans. So it will be a big national tour that's starting out on the East Coast and spreading west. And we're very excited about that. Anyone who wants to come can check with City College or Drexel University in Philadelphia as to when we'll be there, but we'll be gone from Florida for about a month, traveling around the country. And on Thursday, we are doing this. I don't know if you can get it, but we are opening this new exhibit here at our facility at 1300 East Sunrise. And it's going to be a really fun exhibit. It starts at 6 o'clock on Thursday evening.
I love that. Thank you, Robert. All right, make sure you follow them on social media so you can get all the information for yourself.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is the legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays at 9 a.m. and then on demand, baby. And you can also see me as well with her in bed.
Yes.
Faye, comedian Peter Busuito, is doing his next show, My Big Funny Peter, telling it like it is at Sunshine Cathedral Center for Performing Arts on April 4th. Tell me about that. What's happening?
Watch this video and I'll tell you right now. Okay, there's a video. Okay, maybe that's...
If you want to fight injustice and win every time, get yourself a pissed off lesbian. But at least steroids have a redeeming quality. You look good. The only redeeming quality alcohol has is other people look good. If you walk into a straight bar and you accidentally bump into some straight guy's girlfriend, it usually ends up in a bar fight. But if you walk into a gay bar and you accidentally bump into some gay guy's boyfriend, ends up in a three-way.
I love Peter Basuito, and he is super talented. He has sold out a bunch of arenas here locally, and he's just a funny guy, you know. Life is tough, folks, especially in our LGBTQ plus community. And sometimes we just have to laugh because of how difficult life can be. And that is what Peter Basuito wants to bring you in his one-man show. April 4th, 2024 at 7:30, right here at Sunshine Cathedral. We're on the campus of Sunshine Cathedral. Get your tickets now and laugh. Yes, he makes fun of everybody. Nobody is off the books. But it's a good time and it's a fun time. And I adore Sunshine Cathedral for bringing us so many incredible different acts. If it's someone performing, someone singing, if it's drag, if it's comedy, it's all right here, one-stop shopping. Make sure that you follow Sunshine Cathedral to find out who's next on the roster. But get your tickets to go see Peter Basuito, April 4th, 7:30, and wave to me while you're here. So we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, March 25th, 2024. First, let's begin by queering up business. Could the LGBTQ plus future of gay Wilton Drive be harmed by a looming business rent crisis? Affluent and unhampered by children, or so the myth goes, LGBTQ plus city dwellers have long been at the vanguard of transforming rundown neighborhoods. They call them gayborhoods. And no gayborhood in America has been more talked about than Wilton Manors, Florida, and its famous Wilton Drive. Wilton is actually a 14,000 resident city surrounded by Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. Wilton once upon a time was run down. In the 50s and 60s, it was filled with cheap housing trailer parks. Today, it's hard to find property under 7 figures. But the real draw to Wilton is its LGBTQ plus business corridor on Wilton Drive, full of gay bars, nightclubs, galleries, restaurants, shopping, and more. Like South Beach, the Castro, the West Village before it, Wilton Manors may be seeing signs of gentrification. Many call it gaytrification. How does affordability change neighborhoods and even entire communities? While we concentrate on housing costs, it actually may be business rent that is far more telling of the coming change to Wilton Manors. One example is the 2200 block of Wilton Drive. It happened over the weekend as the beloved LGBTQ plus activist, Claudia Castillo, moved her longtime art studio to new retail space at the Gables. When asked about why the move from such a longtime address, she said, quote, "My lease was coming to an end this spring and the rent at my long-term location was going to be more than double," end quote. Castillo, an active member of the Wilton gay business community, said that many business owners are talking about significant rent increases since the pandemic. This block of Wilton Drive includes many well-known LGBTQ plus names, including Ego Bar, To the Moon Novelty and Candy Store, True Blue Clothing, restaurants like Myth Gastro Bars over there, New York Grilled Cheese, and Sushi Song. South Florida Symphony Orchestra is headquartered there, as is Castelli's Real Estate. Another bar owner at a recent city meeting tried to expand an outdoor area, but nixed the plans, not because of city rules, but rather the rent would be dramatically increased because of a lease change. Is the Castillo Gallery move a larger warning of what is happening to Wilton Manors? Could significant rent increases have dramatic effects on what the LGBTQ plus embracing city represents? While Queer News Tonight has been focusing on all the new development underway, it seemed that we must also watch closely what happens to our longtime business community interests. After all, what happens now could represent a gayborhood and city that could be vastly different in the future. I gotta tell, I love Castillo. I love Claudia Castillo. I went and I called her today because we were gonna do this story, and she's bummed that she had to move, guys, right? And she told me how much her rent went up. She was nice by saying double. It's close to triple.
Oh.
Okay, of what her rent would have gone up. And just in a crazy move like that, she had to end up moving her whole entire space, and she's heartbroken, you know? I lived on South Beach when South Beach was gay. Right? When it was, you know, there's a lot of South Beach places now that were super welcoming to us and all of that. But back in the 90s and 2000s, it was very, very gay. LGBTQ plus owned and operated businesses were very prevalent back then. It's not the case anymore, right? I remember when Johnny Rockets, when they gave the okay to Johnny Rockets to be open on Ocean Drive, everything went to shit right after. Fridays soon came after, and then 15 CVS's. Because that's what we need, is 15 mother effing CVS's, right? I fear that this will happen to Wilton Drive as well. I remember a couple months back, it's close to a year now, right? I was driving down Wilton, looking at all my gay boys waving out the window. Hey, it's FayWhat. Hey, all of a sudden I got blinded by this storefront that was freaking brighter than than the stick that I use when I do my social media post, okay? That shit was bright. It's a vape shop. Okay, and it's the biggest vape shop I've seen in life. It took the space of like 4 storefronts. Was that necessary? Is this what we're looking forward to? Is this what's going to happen to Wilton Drive, where the LGBTQ plus owned and operated spaces won't have the necessary funds to support their community? It's come to the point where Wilton Manors is unaffordable for people who go and party there. I can't afford to live in Wilton. I don't know about you guys, but now it breaks my heart even more that the businesses are also feeling that heat as well. I'm curious, you being a real estate agent in your spare time when you're not dancing and, you know, prancing around, right? Which is none. Tell me what you think about this, Jacob.
Well, so to also go with that, thank you. I'm a real estate broker, but my specialty is in nonprofit and transitional housing for vulnerable populations. This is what I do. And I look at this as a bigger problem. When you look at what's going on, when gays move into a neighborhood, they bring up property values to make everything pretty. People want to move in, then they move in with their kids. School systems get better, and then we're outpriced of our own market. And that's happening here. We've seen it happen multiple times all around the country. But now it's not only just happening here in Wilton, it's also happening in Palm Springs, which is something I'm surprised we haven't talked about. They've actually put a kibosh on opening up Airbnbs, and this has a point, I promise, and short-term rentals and not letting licenses convey when they sell. Now, this is why this is important. Palm Springs is a huge gay mecca as well as Wilton Manor. And when they did that, they're trying to address housing affordability, but what they're really doing is sequestering LGBTQ wealth creation. They're doing the same thing here in Wilton Manor. That's because for the first time in recent history, we have a gay population that's old enough to retire that didn't get killed off by AIDS and HIV. Mm-hmm. Now that we are here, a lot of the original guard weren't prepared to retire because they didn't think they were going to be alive this long to retire. So they can't afford to live where everyone else is retiring, right? Palm Springs and Fort Lauderdale being a great example. Now, after that, you also have the other demographic, which were typically men who came out a little later, had a family. Now they have retirement, all those things that go with it. And we also understand that the majority of our LGBTQ wealth does lie within gay white men. And I do say that for a reason. They're also the ones that typically leave assets to the community to help us do things like having LGBTQ centers and other initiatives. But lately I have seen that the powers that be that do control these funds, that do control the ability to give help to grassroots organizations that can actually do the work and keep services accessible to the communities, they focus more on rubbing elbows with each other and seeing how well they can get along with one another and how flashy and shiny they can be based on ego. It's a very common problem in our culture. Unfortunately, that ego is going to cost us our landscape. There is a smarter way of doing this, but we have to first recognize where we are politically, economically, stop dividing each other by adding more letters to this alphabet and start seeing what we actually have in common. And then start devising a plan of attack to where we can actually have our real estate, commercial, and residential be left into community land trusts, which would then be allowed to grow and keep us sustained, give us a future we can count on. Right now, and there's nothing wrong with capitalism to make a profit. I get that. But social capitalism requires a strategy. It requires people having better conversations than we are having. We are not having them whatsoever because we'd rather just look away and see who we can sleep with next or who we can blame for the problem. Here's the real issue. We are all a part of the problem until we decide to become the solution.
Preach, Jacob,
It does
preach!
not happen the other way around. We have to decide to become a part of the solution. If you would like to learn more about this, this is what we are doing at the Sherlock Holmes Foundation. We would love for you to come and get involved. SherlockHolmes.org. SherlockHolmes.org. Thank you.
Well, since you've taken up all the time, I guess we'll move on. No, I'm joking. No, that was, I mean,
That was
you really
amazing.
hit it
That was
right on the head,
amazing.
Jacob. I mean,
Yeah.
again, and that also allows us to leave a legacy of some sort, you know?
Yeah.
Robert, what are you thinking? I see your brain over there moving around. I can feel it from over here.
I know that the symphony is moving out and is moving to downtown Fort Lauderdale. Their rent is going up astronomically, but they have that wonderful corner spot. We used to have...
Weren't you on the drive too?
We had an exhibition space on the drive for a number of years where we did our museum work. And during COVID, the landlords wouldn't give us a break, so we had to close, and that's over. We've looked at taking up other space in Wilton Manors, but it's just prohibitively expensive. And being that it's a small city, the government isn't any help at all. Even though they've tried to be in looking for spaces, but it's not readily available.
Yeah.
There is always problems when it's a small municipality, because you also have to remember that many of those people who bought their houses in the 60s and 70s are looking to use those places for their retirement fund.
Right.
And so when those places become much more valuable, they can sell that and move to a place that's less expensive to live. And therefore, the amount of money they make off the sale of their home or their building or what other investments they've made is what will carry them through in later in life. So you have those conflicts. And those conflicts have always existed in the real estate market and will continue to do so. And the danger in not having multiple avenues for how to protect and preserve real estate, as well as allow for a certain increase, ends up causing huge divides within communities. Also because of tax revenue. Wilton does not provide certain things because their tax revenue is controlled by what they have, and so they want the hotel, and they want this, and they want that, because they need those revenues to provide the same services that they're providing now that become more expensive as you have to pay fire and police and all these other things more money. So it's never an easy solution, and there isn't one solution that will answer every single problem. But certainly it is important to have those conversations, and it is important to be serious about those conversations so that everybody is listened to, everybody is heard, and everybody has an opportunity to be part of the solution and not just be part of the problem.
It also goes to say that this is not just a real estate problem, because Claudia, I love her to death. I've gone to her store many times for business chamber
Gallery.
meetings. That's right. Sorry, her gallery for our LGBTQ chamber meetings, and I really adore her as a human being. What I also think is a huge problem is if she had more support, and this is a statement for all LGBTQ business owners on the drive, if they actually had the support that warranted their stores. In other words, if we went and actually supported local and stopped buying off of Amazon, they would be able to make the income to actually afford these rents. Now, I would love to see when people come out there wearing their Gucci belts. I love what you're wearing, not just realize what you're wearing, but wearing their designer belts. I'd rather them go and wear something local, made with pride, with that same amount of enthusiasm as we do Louis Vuitton and we do Gucci and we do Versace. We need to be supporting LGBTQ designers and LGBTQ businesses, not just going for the convenience on our phones. We can do better by showing up for each other, showing up for our businesses and educating each other so we can actually do more together, unified.
Anything you want to add, Jay?
Well, this is an original queer piece because this is my house, Gorgeous Gucci. This is a ballroom house, the House of Gorgeous Gucci, established 2019. So I do
support local,
I do support local, I support queer. So this ain't Gucci, this is Gorgeous Gucci, by the way.
I feel like, you know, we all need to come together, you know, as LGBTQ plus. We all need to support each other and come together and as one and help each other, because that's the future, I think, for us. And it's all about numbers. And you know, all these hateful laws that are being passed all through America,
Especially here in Florida.
very hateful. Yes, exactly. And it's not just trans; they're going after all of us.
Oh, for sure.
So we have to support each other and become one. You know, I think that is the key.
You're very wise, Miss Danna. You're very wise beyond your years.
That is it. That's
but it's
the key.
true. I mean, look, what Danna's saying is something simple, but it's the truth. This is an election year, right? The reality is that we have an acronym with a bunch of letters, and I disagree with Jacob in that aspect. If you want to add 25 more letters to that acronym, I will say it proudly because you deserve to be seen. If you consider yourself one of those letters, I'll add it to it, no problem, right? But that being said, we don't come together. The LGBTQ plus, every single acronym wants to do their own thing.
Exactly.
Right? And wants to, and I don't need you because I got this on my own. We don't got it on our own. None of us have it on our own. And we will not win this fight ever until that day that it happens that we all unite, which probably might not be in our freaking lifetime.
Well, actually, it could be. But back to your point, you say capitalism isn't wrong. And I always tell people capitalism isn't wrong. It's the usage. And it's usually the greed behind capitalism. And that's what we see going on in Wilton Manors. And that's what we see going on in our community. I used it. Community, because it's the greed that goes on. It's the money. It's the pocketing. It's literally, that's what's tearing us all apart. Inflation is at all-time high.
Yeah.
Inflation
Eggs are $8.
Inflation is almost.
I'm sorry, but the
greed.
The greed is at
That's
all-time
not inflation.
But
Okay, well, you tell that when you go to Publix to buy $8.
You tell that to my
bank account. If you look at the numbers, historically, inflation is not high. What is high is the amount that people are charging for things and pocketing the profits. That's not
and
inflation.
Also our salaries have not increased in the last 20 years.
But that's also,
how do we not call that inflation? How do we not say that we are in the same predicament that we have been in? I've been getting paid the same shit I've been getting paid since 2003, but yet the prices are higher, and this is an inflation just because of the way the economic data shows. No, ma'am. My pockets and the way my household sits is inflation, because now I'm sitting at home most of the time trying to hold on to what little I have, because eggs are $9 fucking.
You have a point.
I don't need it.
What he said. All right, Jacob, what's next, my friend? We've got to move on, unfortunately.
Well, this would be a much better conversation. Let's have it more of a dinner. But I do see what you're saying. Next is Queer Up Politics. Who can blame Miami Ivanka as she and 100 GOP billionaires dump the Donald? Donald appeals bond was reduced today from $454 to $175 million, and he has 10 days to pay it. But that doesn't matter to Ivanka and a long list of GOP donor billionaires. Ivanka no longer uses Trump as her last name. Ivanka Kushner appears unwilling to financially assist her father amid his ongoing legal battles. Despite Donald Trump's desperate need for cash to post bond and avoid state seizure of his assets, Ivanka seems uninterested in coming to his rescue. Billionaire Ivanka Kushner is dumping Daddy Donald when he needs her the most. And according to People, she has distanced herself from the family's toxic reputation and has no intention of entering the political arena. This may come as a shock to Donald, who once publicly admired his daughter's attractiveness in a very awkward way. Ivanka's absence from her father's side is notable, especially considering her previous status as his favorite child and her influential role as a White House advisor. While Trump scrambles to comply with a judgment against him in a fraud case, Ivanka continues to live her best life, indulging in celebrity social events and luxurious experiences. Despite her considerable wealth, estimated at just over $1 billion alongside her husband Jared Kushner, Ivanka's assets may not be readily convertible to cash, given their ties to real estate and other property. Ivanka's reluctance to intervene with her father's legal woes underscores her desire to distance herself from him and prioritize her happiness. More than 100 billionaires have heavily donated to conservative political candidates who appear not to be interested in bailing out Donald Trump. Well, I think every kid has their limit when they're like, okay, enough's enough. You're a dad, but you're also over there. You're a person, and I don't want to be you anymore. I'm not a little you, I'm not a little me. She's going to have her own identity, and she's done a nice job of it. I think she actually has conducted most of her recent activities with some grace, and I say good for her. Sometimes enough is enough. Put a line in the sand, walk away from daddy. Good for you.
Do you think that people will forgive her?
No.
Like forget about the past, because she was very comfortable as being Trump's favorite child. Everybody just expected her to go and, throw her hat in the ring for some kind of C office.
Darling, being
you gets no love over here, honey.
No,
you get
Well, and the thing is that she's always down here, folks. So my wife saw her at an autism walk, right? And she was undercover, like in a hat with a t-shirt, very not fabulous, Ivanka. And, she's doing a lot more of that down here,
I don't know how much grace you can give to a billionaire.
Well, also someone who got all those licenses from China to manufacture and sell their stuff to make more billions without paying taxes. It's really, really questionable. And her husband got $2 billion from the Saudi government after they cut up a journalist and put him in suitcases and carried him out. They have not apologized for what they've done.
Wow.
And they have not handed over the cash to the number of organizations and communities that were ripped off by the actions of the administration that they served diligently and took orders and carried them out one after the other. They're clearly trying to rehab themselves, which they will do, and America will forget, because that's what Americans do best. But the reality is that when the history books are written, the footnotes that will go by their names will not be good.
Yeah.
I don't want to begrudge anyone for having a skill that they've grown. And families pass on their values from parent to child, grandparent to child, on and on and on. It's why we create generational values. Generational wealth is a byproduct. And if you were to go back, I would like to know, can you name your great-grandparent, for example? The answer for most of us is no. That's because they didn't leave us anything. I don't begrudge people for having enterprising parents who actually learn how to work the monetary system that our country allows all of us to do to create a legacy. I'm not endorsing anybody in particular in this. I'm just saying, for example, so hating someone who's a billionaire, Oprah's a billionaire.
Yeah, I don't like her either.
You have
no one is safe.
No one is. Baby, there's no safety.
But the point is, it's not the fact that they have money that makes them a good or bad person. Money just makes you more of who you are. Are you good or bad? And that is, it's
how they attained it. And we already know how billionaires in this country attain their wealth, including Oprah. Lest we not forget the Hawaii wildfires that just happened. And people, and like you said, to your point, Americans forget so easily. I don't. I have the memory of an elephant, baby. It sits over here. I know how you attained your wealth. Even Beyonce, I come for her, and that's my girl, Like, I come for the Carters. We have these conversations.
Yeah.
And Ivanka, honey, girl, she been on the shit list for a long time, and she gonna stay there.
And the Trumps didn't, certainly Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump and Don Jr. and Eric, didn't attain their money because they did things properly or ethically or morally.
They did it with strategy.
And neither did
No, they didn't. They did it by stealing.
By stealing.
And neither did their grandfather.
That's not
strategy.
Stealing is not a strategy.
And neither did their
Stealing is not a strategy.
Have you seen Ocean's 11?
It's not.
They planned it out, right?
Yeah.
That was a strategy.
Yeah.
The Trumps did not plan it out. They
not
manipulated.
I wasn't pointing out any individual family.
Right, but it's
I am
just.
pointing out.
But there is an ethics and morality question.
I agree.
And there are people who did it better than others, and they stole and they destroyed this country. And the legacy that they will have may be this coming November our democracy. I don't think that's anything that we can put an equality base that this person became a billionaire and this one, and we should say, great, they used the system properly. The system is broken. It should be fixed. It should not be celebrated.
For sure.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Robert. Jamaal, what's next, my friend?
Ooh, next, let's queer up gay culture. Elon Musk's bizarre request of his gay friends. He says, reproduce children for survival. Elon Musk finds himself embroiled in controversy displaying contradictory behavior regarding LGBTQ plus issues. After journalist Don Lemon's firing, Musk's agreement to broadcast Lemon's show on X quickly soured during their interview, leading to the cancellation of Lemon's contract. In an interview with tech journalist Kara Swisher, Lemon wondered if Musk was uncomfortable answering questions while sitting in front of a gay black guy. Subsequently, Musk shared a post criticizing a bill mandating LGBTQ plus history in schools, ominously warning about the supposed threat to children. This prompted queries about his stance on LGBTQ plus community, to which Musk responded with a bizarre comment, advocating for his gay friends to have children for the survival of the species. Musk also reshared a hateful post referencing a new bill that was just passed in Washington requiring all public schools to teach LGBTQ plus history. The post said, "They are coming for your children." Musk wrote, "They are." Critics find Musk's comments to his gay friends perplexing, given his history of anti-LGBTQ plus sentiments, despite having a transgender child. In response, a user asked, quote, "Do you love the gays though, Elon?" End quote. Then Musk posted the answer about gay procreation. The statement emphasizes that people are born with their sexual orientation and that it's not a choice. It encourages individuals to pursue love and happiness wherever their hearts lead them, and for gay people to have children. So this is, anywho, there's just so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
That is just weird. Have you ever seen Elon Musk?
With a gay friend?
No, have you ever seen like his personality, his aura? Because he gives off cunt. He gives off gay. He is the most effeminate person I've ever seen. And then for him to tell his gay friends to procreate as if we didn't come from straight people.
Right? Right. It takes
That's not what he's saying. White supremacists believe that white people have to have lots more children. And who is he talking to?
To make the country more white.
To make the country more, and the world more white. Christian,
so this was
white
to
Christian
gay
nationalists.
friends.
I don't think, it could be to anybody, but his friend, I wonder how many friends he has that fit into any racial disparity other than white.
He does not sit at a table like this one, Robert, okay? He doesn't have any gay friends like that. And if he does, those gay friends, we need to take their cards away because you're horrible people to be friends with Elon Musk, all right? Listen, you gays out there that are driving around in your Teslas, all right? You need to go look in the mirror and have a deep conversation with yourself because this is the man who's getting that money. The second that he allowed Twitter to start like doing, racism shit, I got off Twitter right then and there. I want nothing to do with Elon Musk. He rubs me the right way just talking. And he totally gives me gay vibes.
Oh yeah, that man is a
my gaydar goes crazy. Crazy when I see him.
That's why you got a transgender child.
You know, that doesn't even talk to him. Not even your kid. You got gay friends, but your daughter won't talk to you? Come on, Elon. Come on. Danna, what do you think about this guy? Because I just saw you cringe when I said his name. You were just like...
It's like a villain. It's just horrifying. I can't even look or watch or listen. It's insane.
And isn't he a South African Boer? Isn't that his lineage? If you know what a Boer is.
A very boring person?
No.
Dutch descent.
Dutch descent from apartheid. They basically got most of their wealth through apartheid and through the oppression of black South Africans. So isn't that his lineage?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I don't even want to talk. Like, why are we talking about this?
Because he makes us talk about him. That's why, Jamaal.
I don't talk about any of these people that I don't like, except for when I have to.
Well, Beyonce.
Except for Beyonce.
I love
When you have to go
Beyonce.
for her.
I criticize Beyonce. There's a difference. I criticize Beyonce, but she is a black woman, and that's different. I see her differently, but there are certain actions that she takes that
So
I
you see her
criticize.
differently as a
Of
black
course.
woman than Oprah as a black woman?
Of course, yes.
Okay, that's
Yes,
just
I
interesting.
do. Yes, it's on an individual merit.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So it's not because she's a black woman, it's because it's an individual assessment of...
Assessment of her blackness as a woman. Yeah, and what she's done. And yeah.
And you hold people are high regard, as you should. You expect
Accountable.
a lot and accountable.
Oprah is like, Oprah plays in our face. Clearly she plays in our face, like constantly. Like literally all I have to do is point to the Hawaiian wildfires. Like she plays in our face consistently, and
And you're not here for it.
I'm not here for it. I'm just not here for it.
All right, Elon Musk, bye. Robert, what's next?
Let's queer up politics. Government shutdown avoided by banning pride flags and closing the DEI office. On Saturday, Congress passed a government spending bill to avert a partial government shutdown, but the legislation has triggered complaints from both parties. Several provisions have drawn criticism, including a ban on pride flags at U.S. embassies and the absence of additional funding for border security. As part of the spending bill, the House Office of Diversity and Inclusion will be closed down and replaced by the Office of Talent Management. This move comes 4 years after the establishment of the Nonpartisan Diversity Office aimed at promoting diversity within Congress. Another contentious provision prohibits the flying or displaying of any flag other than the U.S. flag at U.S. State Department facilities. This reverses a 2021 authorization allowing U.S. embassies to display LGBTQ plus pride flags. House Speaker Mike Johnson advocated for this provision, which drew criticism from the White House, promising to work towards its repeal. The Human Rights Campaign condemned these Republicans for using the appropriations process to target LGBTQ plus individuals. Additionally, Speaker Johnson faced backlash from members of his own party for supporting a spending bill that increased government spending despite internal divisions. Motions have been made by Marjorie Taylor Greene and others in Congress to remove Speaker Johnson. Both the White House and Capitol Hill leadership endorsed the funding agreement. And then they went on Easter break. So he's there for at least another 2 weeks. It's the most confounding thing is that for so long, the legislative branch of a 3-branch government, executive, legislative, and judicial, has been so dysfunctional that the executive branch and the executive branch and the judicial branch have picked up a lot of the slack. Now the courts are saying it's not our job and we should never do these things to begin with, which means that every single branch of government has forgotten the beginning of the Constitution, which is we the people to form a more perfect union. Now, granted, it has evolved over time as to what we the people means and what a more perfect union means. But they seem to have forgotten all that, and it's all about them. And they will fight to the death to preserve their power and their prestige and their retirement benefits. And that is killing us, and it is playing into the hands of other nations and people within this country that have absolutely no interest in protecting the best interests of we the people. And we do not have the history and information that we need readily available to most of us, easily available, to form opinions and to understand what it is that's going on. Most people don't know how our elective process works. Yeah. Most people don't know how our system works, and they become lazier and lazier because it's too hard to learn. The dumbing down of America has been intentional, it has been generational, and it is frightening as we head into November 2024. And it's unfortunate that every year, almost every year I've been alive, certainly every year you all have been alive, that we say this is the most important election ever, because it is. because we lose so much. We sacrifice more and more in the hope that we will be safe, that we will be taken care of, that we will be provided for. But we never are given the information we need to form intelligent decisions about our futures and the futures of our family. And I have 2 kids. I am always scared about what the world is going to be like for them.
Yeah.
Because I can't even guarantee what it will be like for me, and I'm certainly more than halfway to the end.
I've always wondered about that statement. Do we not have enough information as American people at our fingertips to make an intelligent choice based on what's going on? And I always come back to we do.
We do.
It's just we are conditioned to be ignorant, and we are overfilled and overstimulated with pleasures that have nothing to do with our own benefit.
There is also overfilled with fear, ignorance, anger, and hate. And when all of those things come together, division is the only way, and it is much easier to be a divider than to be a uniter.
Yeah.
And what's going on is the dividers who seek power and wealth, or just power, have found every key to dividing us. So I wrote an op-ed for the Miami Herald that kicked off Pride last year, and I got a call from someone who lived in Miami criticizing me for saying the LGBTQ plus community has to work together and we have to be united and we're all under one flag. And he called and he said, who ever gave you the authority to say that trans people were part of our community? They are not. Who allowed them in?
Wow.
I was at Stonewall and I can tell you, and I said, look, there were millions of people that must have been at Stonewall, because everybody I meet now tells me they were there. And Stonewall is really small.
Right.
Yep.
And the street outside Stonewall is not very wide.
Yep.
Really small.
So with all the people who say they were there, good luck.
I handed them the brick. Of course you did.
I don't understand, like, the ignorance of a lot of gay men, how gay rights started. It was from Marsha P. Johnson.
Sophia Rivera, yeah.
Yes, and why they want to erase that history is so bizarre to me.
Because I always come back to gay men, cisgender gay men are still men, and there's still a lot misogyny that goes on in this. I feel that. I feel that when certain cis white men look at me with disgust. It's literally their own misogyny.
Yeah,
and their own fear,
and their own doubt, and their own miseducation, and you know, again, we've also got a million things coming at us through social media and the misinformation that's out there. You know, LGBTQ plus people, we're busy trying to live lives. We're busy trying to live. We're busy trying to get jobs and make it, right? So we see, you know, and so there's just some dumb people out there that will see something and believe it. Do your research. Get yourself educated to find out what really is going on.
It's hard to find but it's really hard to find trusted sources of information. And it's very easy to be bombarded. I mean, look at how many people think Fox is news. Even Fox basically said they're not news, they're entertainment. And yet people look at that religiously. And there are plenty of newspapers and radio programs and whatnot that people take literally because it answers other needs that they have. Not quickly, but sort of biblically. You know, God created the earth. You don't have to worry about that. Adam and Eve was a rib. You know, all of those kinds of things. It just makes it easy. And then you have legislators who say, no, we're not going to teach evolution in these schools. We're going to teach the biblical course of history. And we put huge swaths of the population at risk because they can't then compete with the world because they don't have the education. And I remember when I used to do speeches about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I would say, you have to remember how important education is in the United States. Why?
Yeah.
Because China has more A-plus students than the United States of America has students.
Wow.
So if you're a business, when China was more liberalized, slightly anyway, where are you going to go for bright engineers or bright doctors? You go to the place where there's all A students versus us taking this group and throwing it over here and this group throwing it over there, where we don't trust our education system. We badmouth teachers at every opportunity we get. Florida says you just need a GED to be a teacher. So we damn the education process. Those are the problems that we face, and it's hard to dig your way out of that while you're just trying to survive the course of every day.
Or a place where you can run for president, but you can't be a teacher with the same record that you have going on right now. Like, you cannot be a teacher as a Trump, but you can definitely be president of this.
Right, yeah. Trump can run for president with all those charges against him. No problem.
There are charges. He's not been convicted, and we have to remember. But our system,
still, if you were, you would not be a teacher. You would not be a teacher. No. You cannot get a teacher certification.
But you don't need a teacher certification.
You can't work for the airlines. You can't. There's so many things I can name right now.
Well, he wouldn't be bonded.
That's for sure. That's for sure. You know what? Let's stop talking about this and let's talk about something fun. I'm so excited to talk about our guests. Can we do that, please? All right. Next, let's queer up entertainment, baby. Thank God. Let me take that Elon Musk stuff off me. Let me just take all this stuff. Okay. Are you with me, folks? All right. Let's do this.
I'm with you.
Candis Cayne brings SNL-like diaper dolls to life to fight anti-LGBTQ plus laws. In response to ongoing legislative attacks against queer individuals, entertainment pioneers Candis Cayne and Danna Davis have launched Mary. It's Mary Productions. The company is dedicated to sharing trans-centric stories infused with positivity and humor. The name Mary holds historical significance reclaimed from an anti-gay slur to a term of endearment between these two friends. Their upcoming project, Diaper Dolls, satirizes anti-trans bathroom bills, particularly targeting Florida's discriminatory laws. Humor, they believe, is a powerful tool against bigotry, allowing for both expression and persuasion. Watch this.
What's the matter?
You have no idea how frustrating it is. I've seen that sign all day long. I went to the gym, and then I had to go home. And then I went shopping, and then I had to go home.
You got the bathroom bill blues?
Yeah. I just wish there was an easier way that I didn't have to always go home for number one.
Or number two. Have you tried TransGuard? My girlfriend swears by it.
A trans adult diaper that finally allows us some bathroom dignity? And it's TSA approved.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Scheduled for release on Saturday, March 30th, Diaper Dolls is just one of their initiatives. Chaser, a trans-amorous rom-com set in the 90s, aims to portray trans love stories with traditional happy endings, countering harmful stereotypes. Their broad vision includes reality series like Doctor's Orders, It's Sickening, spotlighting LGBTQ plus healthcare professionals, and documentaries such as Wilton Wins, exploring the transformation of Wilton Manors, Florida, into an LGBTQ plus haven. Cayne emphasizes the importance of empathy and connection, hoping to bridge gaps between communities through shared experiences. Despite challenges, she remains hopeful for a more inclusive future, recognizing art as a catalyst for progress in LGBTQ plus rights. Though it's Mary Productions, they aim to amplify trans voices and foster understanding on a broader scale. Of course, we're happy that Danna Davis is with us tonight as an anchor of Queer News Tonight.
Yay.
This shit is hysterical. That little part was hysterical, okay? Tell me about TransGuard and who is the face of that? Like, that is funny.
Well, the cover girl of the TransGuard box, she's actually my roommate. Her name is Danna, and she escaped from Neiman Marcus a while ago. And she is plastic, but she lives with me, and well, she kind of bullied me into having to be on the cover. So I didn't
Oh my God.
But, yeah, we're really excited about Diaper Doll. We want to deal with this issue with some humanity and humor.
Yes.
And go at it a little more light and fun.
We need to laugh,
Yeah,
Danna.
we need to laugh, exactly. And this definitely will make you laugh.
I love that.
Really
I love
funny.
that. You know, here at Queer News Tonight, like when I first started working at Queer News Tonight, I was like, ooh, that word queer, right? Like we were slowly taking it back.
Yes.
You know, and here you are doing the same.
Yeah, and I hate the thought of erasing any of our queer history and our vocal, you know, that to me that's so important. And I hate when I get corrected and I say, no, we need to keep that word.
Yeah.
You know, we need to remember our history, where it came from.
Yeah. So Diaper Dolls, I think, is going to be fantabulous.
Yeah.
And you know, something else that I'm super interested in, you were talking about the reality show, right?
Yes.
So my wife is a nurse practitioner, and some of the crazy stories, what people put in their butts, you'd
Oh,
be
my
surprised.
goodness, yes,
Anyway,
for
but
sure.
that I'm interested in also, like a
Yes.
reality
No
show, like,
surprise.
you know, so many, you know, healthcare providers and, you know, healthcare people are LGBTQ plus. Like, I would
know.
love this dynamic about behind the scenes from their world.
Yeah, you know, when I wrote it, I thought, you know, I never get to see LGBTQ plus health heroes. You know, I never get to see that. So that's what made me start writing it. And then my doctor, Dr. Constable, Boca Dental on Wilton Drive, I pitched him the idea, and I said, would you be the dentist? And he said, yeah, do it. Let's do it.
I
So then
love
I just
that.
kept writing. Yeah.
I love that. Now
Yeah.
you need to turn that into like 3 or 4 different series. And when you go to like Midland or Can Community, and you
Yes,
go to
exactly.
these organizations that
Exactly.
deal with LGBTQ plus people on a daily basis, right? Because they must have some great stories too.
They do. I'm sure they do. And at Midland, my doctor's Dr. Jones. He's amazing. Yeah. I love
God,
Midland.
I love that. So you're
I
doing a
think
lot.
it'd be very interesting.
You
A
also
medical
have the
show.
Trans Day of Visibility that we were talking about also
Yes.
and that's going to be on Saturday, right?
yes.
So you've got a lot going on, girl. How'd you
Yes.
find the time to be at the table with just us?
Oh my God. Well, you guys are so thoughtful and intelligent. I'm kind of taken back. I'm very impressed. Yes. And thank you for, and can I
please.
just say one thing?
Please,
Faye?
Danna, please.
Okay. FayWhat?
I love her.
I've been trying to say
Oh
that.
my God, I love
You
it.
are a really inspiration to the community, and
thank you.
congratulations on everything that is
Thank
golden
you.
that's going
Thank
for you.
you.
And I think it's very well deserved.
Oh my God. Well, right back
Yeah.
at you. And you know, I know that you are usually like behind the scenes, like
I am.
supporting folks,
I am.
writing these things,
Yeah.
producing these
Yeah.
things. And you know, the fact that you allowed us to, you know, be with us at this table, you know, I know that it's not like your normal thing and you're like, I'll do it. Okay. But I
Yeah.
mean, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're
sweet.
also
Thank you.
representation.
Yes,
You know,
I just want to make contents
yeah.
that is, you know, for us and for everyone else, you know,
Yes.
and make them understand our gorgeous humor. And trans humor is some of the funniest humor around, you know, and it needs to be celebrated.
It needs to be.
And if I can get young people that want to be involved in all these projects, and everyone of color, and that is amazing to me. you
And that's
know?
how you get them is through comedy,
Yes.
folks. I mean,
Yes.
think about it, right? Like if
Yes.
it's something that you don't understand or you're not educated on, this is a great way.
This girl right here on screen, she is amazing. Her name is Jocelyn.
With the trans guard.
Jocelyn Flawless, and she is one of our trans guard correspondents.
I
now.
love that. I love that. And you
Yeah.
could take it through TSA.
Yes. It's TSA approved. Yeah. Yeah. For those long trips.
Oh, I love that. Danna,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being with us
Thanks
today.
so
We're not
much
done
for
with the
having
show,
me.
folks, but I just want to say thank you to her, you know? Like, I don't get to have, like, other really strong women around all the time because I hang out with all gay boys, right? So every once in a while when we get a girl at the table, I'm like, yes! You know?
God, amazing.
So women power, you're amazing. Anything you're doing, we want to help. No Manners.
Love it.
Give it up to No Manners for
Yes.
also being
No
like a
Manners has
great
been
place to do
amazing.
this, you
Yes,
know?
it's true. Steve, the owner, is
you know,
fabulous, and the staff is
And
incredible.
the staff, and you know, a shout out to No Manners, and also
And they
like
just
they're-
hired a trans waitress, cocktail waitress. So I'm really happy about that.
is that you?
No.
Oh, you're like, she's like, on my off time, like 9 a.m. to 9:15, I've decided to go help them by waitressing. You know,
She's
like,
taking notes for her next series.
I'm like, she does it all. So I was like, you know.
It's nice to see that, though, in their club, that they have a trans cocktail waitress.
Listen, No Manners also does a lesbian night as well.
they
More
do.
places on the
Thursdays,
drive are doing that. So,
they should.
You know, inclusivity is important. And I love that the gay boys are watching the girls and saying, come on over. You can party with us or you can use our space. I've been to a great lesbian party at the Eagle.
Amazing.
Take that in, okay? At the Eagle. All right, well, follow Danna on all social media. We'll be definitely watching her to see whatever she's doing. And because look at the outfit, girl. You better not turn around. I'll steal that jacket. I'm just saying, I'm Puerto Rican. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you and the generous support from Visit Lauderdale. They welcome everyone under the sun.
Oh, thank you.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finished tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
Let's queer up gay culture. RuPaul talks masculine white gay men who project internalized homophobia. RuPaul, the legendary drag queen, delves into his past for his memoir, The House of Hidden Meanings, revealing his experiences as a black gay youth in 1970s Atlanta. Despite feeling a disconnect between the black religious community and the white gay community, RuPaul found strength in his own identity. He recalls encountering masculine white gay men who harbored self-loathing and internalized homophobia. However, as his career soared, RuPaul embraced his authenticity, forming relationships with those who valued thinking outside the box. Throughout his journey, RuPaul emphasizes the importance of authenticity and finding one's true tribe.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Are drag kings coming to RuPaul's Drag Race? At a RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party, Canada's Drag Race host Brooklyn Heights and Season 8's Naisha Lopez discussed the inclusion of drag kings. Heights advocated for diversity, expressing support for drag kings on the show. However, Lopez suggested they deserve their platform, liking it to J-Lo and Shakira's Super Bowl performance. Heights countered, emphasizing that drag is drag, regardless of gender presentation. Heights' stance aligns with their experience hosting Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World, where a cisgender female queen performed as a drag king. The mere conversation sent drag social media ablaze over the weekend. The debate highlights ongoing discussions within the drag community about inclusivity and representation.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up drag culture. Pennsylvania Drag Queen Story Hour canceled after bomb threats forced mass evacuation. Lancaster Pride's Drag Story Hour with Miss Amy was canceled amidst protests and threats emphasizing community safety. Despite efforts to promote diversity and acceptance, opposition labeled it a woke ideology. Tensions escalated at the county meetings, with residents denouncing the event as unsuitable for children. A suspicious package triggered a library evacuation. Blocks around the library were also evacuated. There was no bomb. The library's executive director, Lisa Holland, expressed disappointment, highlighting the event's importance. She reflected on a similar incident in New Jersey, where a threatened LGBTQ plus center defiantly hosted a drag queen story hour among many public threats.
Oh, LGBTQ 1 minute news. Let's queer up business. New Jersey Republicans support LGBTQ plus business law by quoting the Damron guide, a bipartisan bill in New Jersey granting state certification for LGBTQ plus businesses heads to Governor Phil Murphy's desk for signing. Expected to become law, it formalizes a certification process initiated by executive order in 2022, offering LGBTQ plus businesses access to funding and contracts. Bill A3330 was sponsored by Assemblyman Don Guardian, a gay Republican. He used his experience with 1980s Damron gay travel guides to explain why LGBTQ businesses were so important. The bill faced opposition from fellow Republicans who argued against preferential treatment. Gus Penerneda of the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce, noting the historic importance of the queer business embracement with wide legislative support. The bill marks a significant step towards equality and economic empowerment for LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs in the state.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, then please share this news with your friends and family. You are like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon, and Amazon Fire TV.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
Okay, I'm going to let Danna do this one, all right? So I'm going to say I'm your anchor, and you're going to say FayWhat. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight.
FayWhat?
Yes! And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Reide Jennings, Jamaal L. Danna Davis, and Robert Kesten. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you good night. Stay gay, folks.